Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is John Nerrell, and today is Wednesday, May 9th, 2018. This is my weekly Facebook Live where I get on here and I share information that is specifically related to leadership and careers. And today, the whole topic is about dealing with the frustrations that we have in the workplace, or what I like to call running up the down escalator. So if for more information about all the services that I offer, if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, or if you work with an organization that perhaps is in need of some training or some group facilitation, you can find out more information on my website at johnnerrell.com. So here's how this week's content all came about. Excuse me. So, I had an opportunity to work with the United States Bowling Congress in Syracuse. You might remember a few months ago, I had an opportunity to go up there and help train some staff that actually work this major bowling tournament for the US Bowling Congress. I actually had opportunity to bowl the event, but prior to it, I had a chance to go up there and work with the team and just do some following up with them. And some point in time over the weekend, it was actually after we had gotten done, we finished up bowling the team event. And I bowled okay. I didn't bowl really as well as I had hoped. I had a bad second game in there and was just really frustrated. Came out of this area and there were these two escalators. And I had seen a Facebook video of a friend of mine who had tried to run up it. And I thought, I'm kind of in need for a small victory right now, so I'm going to go ahead and run up this down escalator. And of course, it was moving, and so I start out, and I've got a good pace going, and I'm like, all right, this isn't so bad. And I get to the middle, and I'm like, all right, it's getting a little bit harder. And then I get to the top, and I'm struggling. Like I'm struggling to actually make it, and what I had forgotten is that the steps at the top of the down escalator move a little bit quicker to help get you going, and this body wasn't moving as quick as it needed to be going. So I'm like trying to run again. So finally I jumped, I leapt for it. And the bonus in the whole story is that I did not hurt myself, because there could have been some damage that was done. But as I was thinking about the whole email and content for the week, I was really kind of struck by those three phases in trying to run up the escalator. I mean, we set a goal for ourselves, something we're aspiring to work toward. And at first we get kind of all excited. We get the adrenaline going, we're moving. And then we get to the middle where we really start feeling the work being a little bit harder. And so we're pushing and we're moving, but we're still making some progress. Maybe not as fast as the beginning, but we're still making some progress. And then we get to the top and we are just winded and exhausted. And we believe we can do it. We are trying to do it. And finally we just we take the leap and we go for it. And hopefully in the process, we do no harm and we don't hurt ourselves. I want to be perfectly clear. I'm not advocating that anybody runs up a down escalator, because a friend of mine will attest it took me probably about a good 5 minutes for me to get my breath. So I now have a new fitness goal. Life's great. So here's the thing. And hey, Tracy. Hey, Jennifer. Good to see you both. Thanks for joining. So whenever we're trying to create that next advancement opportunity, it is a journey. And at times it feels as if we are traveling up the down escalator. It's hard. There are parts when initially, maybe at the beginning, like I said, we get caught up in the excitement and enthusiasm and it's a little bit easier. But in the end, it can lead us pretty frustrating and tired. But hopefully at the end of it all, we feel pretty gratified and proud of ourselves for what we were able to do. So I wanted just to share with you today a few tips and tricks that I find to be really helpful to make things a bit easier when it comes to dealing with some frustrations in the workplace. So the first thing is really about learning to advocate for yourself. In other words, when we speak up for what it is that we want, whether it be that opportunity to lead, or we are looking to shift a culture within our organization, or we are simply looking to make more powerful connections, what we choose to advocate for and when we advocate for ourselves is in a direct alignment with our core values. When we are really, really clear about those core values that are important to us, when we go to advocate for ourselves, it is because there is a misalignment to that event with our core values. So for example, if you're someone who truly values about being respected and having respect for what you do and who you are in the workplace is really, really important to you, and you have a manager or a colleague where you are feeling some disrespect from them, we will advocate for ourselves because there is that misalignment where someone isn't honoring that value for us. And it's really, really important that we are respected and we are respectful in the workplace. Whenever I talk about advocating for ourselves, I always feel there's a need to talk about the difference between being aggressive and assertive. I don't think either one of them are really bad. And I know bad's a judgment word, but I think sometimes we talk about being aggressive, that it sometimes has a negative connotation with it. When I talk about being assertive, what I'm simply saying here is that you are putting your need first because it is aligned to your core value. It is aligned with what is most important for you. And so asserting yourself and saying, no, I need to speak up. This is what I want, can be really, really helpful. I don't think we want to be a jerk in the process of it all, but sometimes we do really need to speak up for what it is that we need. And that's where the advocating comes in. Another tip is about making agreements. So sometimes we're frustrated in the workplace. I have often found throughout my career that when I have made agreements with colleagues and with bosses, that it does seem to make life a little bit easier. So I had a boss one time at a job where we all worked in kind of these open spaces. And so it was really easy for people to see your computer screen. And I made an agreement with my boss, and I said to her, look, I'm going to give you some great work. I promise. I'm going to be focused, and I'm going to meet my deadlines. I promise you. But what I need is to let you know that I'm a bit of a news junkie, and sometimes to just give myself a little bit of a break, I might take a moment to read the news. Or because I'm a bowler, I might actually look at a bowling website. Or because I'm a game show fanatic, I said, look, if you happen to walk by my computer and you happen to see me looking at a news page, news website or something like that, can we just agree that I'm just taking care of myself for a few moments and I'm not neglecting my work in any way, shape, or form? And I want you to agree with me that if you ever feel like my performance isn't meeting your expectations or standards, that you will let me know. And if that's a problem, you will let me know. That made a huge difference for our work because we knew as we passed each other that I didn't have to feel like I had to close a window because I was looking at, CNN or the New York Times. And she knew that I could get my work done. So sometimes having agreements with our colleagues or our bosses can help kind of alleviate some of those frustrations because we know how we're playing. We know how we're playing in the workplace, so to speak. So the next thing is about valuing rich feedback. So we get feedback all the time, and sometimes it isn't really worth much. So I'm a big advocate for making sure that whenever we give feedback, it is data-driven, it is evidence-based, and it is designed to either help encourage the employee to continue with what they're doing or to help them realize that they're not on track or they're making a mistake and to literally change what it is they're doing so they can get on track. Oftentimes when we are feeling frustrated, it is because we are not getting the proper feedback that we need in order to do our job well. So sometimes we have to ask better questions from our bosses or our leaders to help them out with the feedback we need. You've probably heard me say in the past that asking a boss or a supervisor a question, which is, "Hey, how am I doing?" doesn't really help them very much. Doesn't really give them an idea about where to land. But if I say something like, uh, "Hey, I really wanted to talk to you about the recent deliverable I just submitted. I was wondering if you could give me any feedback around the quality of the work I submitted." There's something a little bit more specific with that question and with them to work with. So, couple last things, right? So identify how important things really are. This means a lot to me right now, and as I was prepping for this, it really made me take a step back to say we get ourselves worked up over things, and at the end of the day, how important is it really? My godmother passed away last week. Um, Love her dearly. She lived an amazing life. But you get to be 78 and you kind of do realize what's important and what's not, like priorities shift. And hopefully for us, we kind of realize that a little bit more. I got word today that a friend of mine passed away unexpectedly at a very young age. And I'm sad by that. I'm sad for his wife and their young daughter and their families. And like it just helps me put into perspective certain things about what's really, really important in all of it. I remember I would commute home from a job and it would just, some stuff would just grate on me and just annoy the heck out of me. And at the end of the day, when I work with my clients one-on-one, I make sure to acknowledge that those things are important. But my other question to them is, well, how well is that serving you to hold on to that anger or that frustration? And how can you end up releasing some of that anger or upset that you're feeling so you can just kind of get rid of it and let it all go? Like get rid of the bad juju and get some good juju coming in. So I don't know, I'm like all up here with my arms out and waving around and everything like that. So it's all about the juju, we want good juju. All right, two last things that I feel I feel are important to share. So, lastly, is ask for what you need. I have a friend of mine who, about a year ago, set an intention for an entire weekend that he was going to make sure that he asked everybody what he needed. He asked for it. It was about making sure he got a better hotel room, or that when he went to a restaurant, that he made sure he asked the waiter or the waitress if his meal could be prepared a certain way. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary, but it was just about setting the intention that he asked for what he needed. And I'm reminded of that because I think sometimes we go into the workplace, we're so afraid of pushback or walking on eggshells and things, where at the end of the day, truly the worst thing they're going to say to us is no. I remember when I had an opportunity to work from home, and the first time I asked, and it was like, is it okay? Is it all right? I work from home? I've got a repair person coming and I need to make sure I'm home, but I can get all this stuff done. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. But we ask for what we need because what we need is often what helps make our lives just a little bit easier. And if somebody turns around and says that they can't do it, we can acknowledge that. We can acknowledge that gracefully and simply say, okay, I understand. If it's something you really, really need, it's another conversation to have. But I truly believe there is an art and a gift in asking for what it is that we need. And when we ask for what it is we need, it makes that running up the down escalator just a little bit easier because we get what it is that we're asking for. All right, the last one's a big one for me. And it is the difference between truth in all capital letters versus truth in all lowercase letters. See, there's a difference about knowing something factually and with evidence to be absolute truth, as opposed to what we believe to be true, because we suspect, or we surmise, or we project, whatever that might be. When it comes to frustrations in the workplace, I believe that a lot of energy is wasted because we don't have all of the information we need. What if we were able to structure our conversations and interactions a little bit differently so we got our questions answered so that we knew situations with truth with a capital T versus truth with a lowercase t? What is it that you want to know that's going on for you in the workplace right now that would alleviate a lot of uncertainty or maybe even anxiety if you just knew the situation to be exactly what it is? Who would you ask? Who would you be able to go to get that information? And how would you feel once you actually knew that? Let me give an example. A lot of people have recently just come out of performance evaluations, and certainly a lot of emotions come up. Some get promoted, some don't. Some get larger raises than others, and some simply just kind of stay where they're at. But what does it mean when you really, really, really want that promotion and you don't get it? And you don't necessarily have all the information you need in order to really process it. What would it look like if you went back to your boss or supervisor and said, hey, I can understand that I didn't get promoted. What I can understand is that I just don't really specifically know why. And I'm wondering if we can have a conversation so we can clear some things up. I believe that a conversation like that needs to be set up and then come back to it after your boss or your supervisor perhaps maybe is fully prepared to have that conversation. I don't think we just kind of storm into our boss's office and go, I'm ticked off and now you got to tell me why I didn't get promoted. I don't think that's the best way to handle it, but I do think laying the groundwork and coming back to the conversation is helpful. What would it look like, or what would it feel like if you got to hear exactly what it was that was holding you back? What would it resonate for you inside if you got to know exactly what your professional reputation is and how you could go about navigating it? What and how would you feel if all of your questions got answered in that meeting and you knew more clearly than ever what creating that next advancement opportunity actually looked like for you? You have to decide whether or not you really want to have those kind of conversations. But I will tell you that when I work with clients one-on-one, we dig really deeply around what it is they want in the workplace, what it is they want from their current organization, and what it is that they want in terms of their career path moving forward. And that's where working with someone like me or someone else in the coaching space can be really, really helpful to help you determine how you want to navigate what those next steps look like. So if you feel like you're running up the down escalator and you're really, really frustrated by it and you're just stressed out because you just need a little bit more support, reach out to me. Reach out to me and let's have a conversation about what that may actually look like. It is one of the most gratifying and satisfying things about my work is my work with my individual clients to really help them create what that next advancement opportunity looks like for them. So hopefully the next time you see a down escalator, you will think about this conversation. Not necessarily run up it, I'm not advocating that, but think about it and think about what it is that we talked about today. Just curious if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat box. Want to give a hi to Chris and to Kay. Thanks so much for hopping on today and joining in a little bit. It's good to see all of you. And again, to Tracy, Jennifer, and Brian, thank you so much. So My goddaughter graduates from college this weekend. I can't believe it. I cannot believe she is graduating. So super excited for her. And I haven't been to a college graduation in a while. So, it'll be about 3 hours of commencement speeches and a lot of people walking the stage and everything, but I'm really looking forward to it. Like it should be a good time, and certainly a lot of positive energy and excitement and enthusiasm in the space for everybody who's graduating, and all those graduating from New York College. I wish you all the best. So, all right. Well, thank you very, very much for joining. I appreciate it. We'll meet back here same time next week with a different topic focused around leadership and career. And if you like what you see, thanks again for the likes. Feel free to share this with someone or message them. Let them know what we're doing here and everything, and have people join the conversation. And I wish you a great rest of the day. Take care, everybody. Thanks. Bye.